launching TSP Live this month, today, okay? We're launching it today. And so that had to be planned. We have some new offerings for Propel that we're launching, and we're gonna have an online challenge in March. So who here has done an online challenge? Finally, they let me on stage. Finally, Lamar let me out the back. All right. All right, guys. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you three simple strategies to make massive profits in your business. And they're not going to be complex techniques. The biggest thing is going to be for you to really just take notes, be disciplined, and execute, all right? I already talked about that. But I will say these strategies are things that all business owners can use to create predictable revenue in their business, right? Predictable revenue. Because as you've seen over the last couple of days, we're about creating history. We're about creating legacy. We're about creating businesses that last. And you can't have a business that lasts if you don't have your processes and systems in place. If you don't have predictable revenue, you're not gonna have anything to pass on to anyone. And so I have made it my mission to help you all with that. All right, so why listen to me? Besides the fact that I'm cute in that chair, right? Like that picture. Why listen to me? So you've heard, Brandy just shared, I was a project manager for IBM for 17 years. And I worked on software development projects with developers all across the country, so the world really. I had developers in China, testers in India, I had assistants in Brazil, architects in Australia, and so my teams were remote, and that added to the complexity of really managing the projects. And we had budgets of well over $30 million or more. But I think my most impressive accolade is that I was able to use that knowledge to manage projects for my own business, right? And I was able to manage projects that helped us to produce films. It helped us to produce, have 7-figure launches every year, 6-figure launches, and sometimes no-figure launches, right? Not all launches are successful. But I have made it my mission to to teach other entrepreneurs about project management strategies so that they can become more efficient and so that they can become more profitable in their businesses. And so, today, I'm not gonna talk about my book. I'm always talking about my book, The Profitable Launch Blueprint, and that book shares with you the strategies to turn your launches into profitable launches. So it shows you how to launch. If you want to launch a new product, if you want to launch a new service, anything that you want to launch, my book will give you 5 steps, the 5-step blueprint in order to launch that. So I go through the steps of how to plan, how to prepare, how to promote, how to launch, how to wrap it up. And that's all in the book. I've laid it out for you. And so if you want a copy of my book, go out to the website that was shown. Hopefully y'all saw it on the last screen, and get the book. Because we're not talking about that today. We're not talking about launches. I want to show you how to plan for a business, not a launch. And a lot of you all are going from launch to launch to launch to launch, but you really don't feel settled. You really don't feel secure in your business because you're not planning for a business, you're planning for launches. And so we want to take a step back and we want to go before the launch and share with you how to plan for your year to reach your revenue goals. So your profitable year starts before your launch, right? Everybody wants to run out of here and say, I want a webinar, I want to do a challenge, I want to do this, that, and the other. But it really starts before that. And so we're going to get into how to generate massive revenue in your business with these 3 easy steps. I'm going to break them down for you right now. The first step is to be a planner. The second step, to be a planner, right? So being a planner means creating plans. That's it. If you create plans, you're a planner. But you need to create the plans at the macro level and the micro level, right? So I call the micro level those launches. But the macro level is planning for your business. It's doing your yearly planning and your strategic planning and casting that vision for your business and setting those revenue goals and then implementing steps at the micro level in order to achieve those goals. So you have to be able to do both. And just by a show of hands, just be honest. Who's been dabbling around at the micro level but not at the macro level, right? Right? And we need for you to raise up and to be at the higher level. And we need for you to be consistent. We need for you to take consistent action. That's been a theme all week. And literally, I thought of this before we came, but it's been consistent all week that you have to take consistent action. And then the third thing is you have to be honest. And we're gonna have some real honest conversations today because you need to be truthful about your goals and about your mindset and about your business. Because until you're truthful about that, you're not gonna reach your goals and you're not gonna take the correct actions in order to reach them. All right, so I did a little Venn diagram of those 3 steps: planning, consistency, honesty. And if you have a little bit of all 3, then you're going to be profitable. But what happens if you're only planning? You're not consistent. You ain't honest. You ain't setting no goals. You're a dreamer. What happens if you're consistent? You're just doing a whole bunch of stuff, but it's not planned out. You really didn't set any goals for the year. You're just doing stuff. You heard about this, you heard about that, and you're tired and you're exhausted. You're working harder, but you're not working. What about, you know it all? You're honest, you know your goals. You set out the path, you just know it all. But you ain't planning nothing, you definitely ain't executing. You just know it all. All right? But when you have all 3, you're gonna be profitable. And to be honest, I didn't come up with anything new. This is the same thing Lamar talks about, right? That mindset, that strategy, and that execution. But as it pertains to planning is what we're gonna talk about today, all right? But I love a good case study, right? Because sometimes you gotta hear it from multiple people. And so I asked my friend Ashley, y'all know Ashley? I think so, right? I don't even have to introduce her, right? Speak your way to cash, right? I asked my friend Ashley to help me out with my presentation, and so she agreed to do a case study for me. So Ashley is going to be helping me throughout the presentation share with you how introducing more planning into her business has impacted it, right? So she's gonna give us a 7-figure planning case study, and basically the summary of her results are that she has increased her revenue by 500% by doing more planning in her business. So would y'all like to know how she did that? All right.
Planning has impacted our revenue drastically. Our revenue has increased over 500%. We went from being a $500,000 company to generating over $3 million in sales with $1.2 million in cash collected to date in just this calendar year. And we still have one additional launch for 2022. So it really changed the makeup of our company. And importantly, we now have over 6 figures a month in recurring revenue as a result of our efforts this year. So that for us is a game changer because every year we had a $100,000 month. We started again from almost zero and remade that money via launches.
Okay, so that was a nugget inside of a nugget. Because she said, first of all, she said planning has helped her increase her revenue, right? Everybody can do planning. You know, some people say, I can't build a sales page, I can't build a funnel, but you can plan. The second thing is she said that she increased her recurring revenue, right? So she was launching, and every month she was starting from zero. I had to launch again to make 100,000. I had to launch again to make 100,000. But now she has 100,000 a month in recurring revenue, and that should feel good to any business, all right? So, step one, be a planner. Now we're gonna spend most of our time in this area, and I'm gonna share with you who should plan. I'm gonna share with you when to plan, and I'm gonna share with you what to plan, all right? So let's get a few definitions out of the way before we get into that, right? So what is a planner? A person that plans something. So we all can be planners. But a good planner is detail-oriented with organized characteristics, all right? Organized. A good planner should be able to see the big picture as well as the small details. So too many times we're stuck in the weeds and we're not looking at the big picture. And when you're just focused on just this 12 weeks and just this quarter, you're not looking at the big picture, and you don't know if you're doing enough to meet that goal for the end of the year, if you're only just focused on the right now. So you have to be able to focus on both the big picture as well as the small details, all right? And so that's why I want to bring everybody up to that macro level of planning. They also need to be detail-oriented enough so that they can make sure that all of their tasks are being completed on time and effectively. And that's one thing that I'm going to challenge you all with today, is to have enough discipline to stick to your plans. It's one thing to set a date. It's another thing to have enough discipline within yourself to actually make that date or attempt to make that date. Okay? So, another thing that I want to share with you, another definition, and then we're going to get into it, is what is a project? Because I need all of your organizations to be project-based. If you don't say the word project, if you don't say the word project management in your company, you're losing money. If you don't use the word project, and then you don't use the word project management in your company, you are losing money. A project is a series of interrelated tasks that accomplish a desired objective. It must have a clear objective, a time frame, a budget, and a plan of action. The plan includes what needs to be done, who will do it, how long, and it has start and completion dates. Remember, what needs to be done, who needs to do it, and start and completion dates. And yes, if you're a solopreneur, what needs to be done is going to be done by you. Who needs to be done is going to be you. The start and completion dates are going to be assigned to you. But you still need a plan. You do. I think a lot of solopreneurs think, it's just me. I'm just going to go along to get along, right? I'm just going to do it. I'm just going to do it. But you're not keeping yourself accountable to a timeline when you do that. And so even if you're a solopreneur, you need a plan, and you need to keep yourself accountable to the dates. All right, so step one, who should plan? Let me see. I like that picture too. So we're gonna be thinking about these questions I ask. Who should plan? I look good too, y'all. I turned 50 this year. And at first, I wasn't going to share that picture. I was like, oh, I'm not looking good, but I was looking good, so I'm going to go ahead and share that picture. All right, so who should plan? You. It ain't a trick question, it's you. If you have not hired a project manager in your business, who's the project manager? You. Not me, you. You the project manager. And somebody has to be the project manager in your business, and that is going to be you. And so if you don't know about project management, if you have never done it before, I suggest you go get some training on it. You're gonna go and learn how to do Facebook ads and webinars, but I tell you one thing, you're gonna make some money if you learn how to be a project manager in your business. And if you hire management within your business, I ask every manager, I don't care what your role is, director or whatever, do you have any project management experience? Because if that person is leading a team within your company and they don't respect dates, all of your stuff is going to be late. And you're trying to leave this over there with them, and then they don't even know how to manage stuff. And if I tell somebody in my company, you're managing a project manager, I still need you to know about project management, because I need you to know if your team member is weak in project management. But either way, if you're not doing it, somebody within your organization needs to do it. And so, yes, you. That's Lamar being kind of shady, like, who, me, project manager? I just got the vision, just do it. No, but yes, you have to be the project manager, okay? Yes, that's Lamar. All right. All right, so that's all I got to say about who should plan. You should plan, all right? When to plan, this is very important. All right, guys, when to plan? All the time, all right? You need to plan all of the time. Yes, all the time, okay? Yes, Lamar, we're gonna plan all the time. We're gonna have these meetings. All right, so I want you to plan out your year. I want you to plan out your quarters, and I want you to plan out your months. Plan your year, then plan your quarters and your months. The next thing I want you to do is set meeting rhythms and have discipline. Set meeting rhythms and have discipline. And I'm gonna share with you our meeting rhythm, but you're going to have a series of meetings to set the plan and to track it, and you want to be disciplined with it. And when you plan out your year, your quarter, and your months, you don't lose time. And what is time? Time is money. So I put that on the next slide because that's a nugget. When you plan out your year, and when you plan out your quarter, and when you plan out your months, you don't lose time. And so this is how it plays out. You're just going along to get along. And you're not necessarily planning out your year. But you know you want to have a launch in the first quarter. But you didn't do your quarterly planning at the end of 2022, right? You didn't do your planning. You just know you want to launch in the first quarter. So you get into the first quarter, and it's January, and you're a little tired after New Year's, so it maybe take you a week and a half to get going. Then you check your emails, it may take you another week or so, and then you're saying, you know what, I want to have a launch this quarter. Well, come to find out what you want to launch, it takes longer than 3 months to plan. So once you start trying to plan it, maybe you'll do it in April. Well, you done missed that revenue for the first quarter. That's gone. That revenue's gone for the first quarter. And then April comes along, and you launch, and you're exhausted from that launch. So you have to take another couple of weeks to get yourself back together. Maybe go on vacation, do a couple things, and next thing you know, it's May, June, and now you're thinking about the next launch. Now you're gonna start planning that, and maybe that'll be in July or August sometime. Then you have that launch, and then you think, oh, I'm tired, but kids gotta get back to school. Got some other stuff going on. It's August, it's September. Oh, I should do Black Friday sale. I can't do Black Friday sale because I can't order enough inventory in time. Or I ain't got enough time to plan, so I'm not gonna do Black Friday. I'm gonna end the year right. I'm gonna end the year strong. I'm gonna do a new end of the year sale. So you don't do Black Friday. Then you do a little half end of the year sale because you know you're tired. It's the end of the year. Let me just start fresh next year. So what has that done to your revenue? Do you think that you have made as much money that you could have made in the year? And also, does that sound familiar to anyone? All right. But if you plan ahead of time, then you can get more done. And more launches means more money, right? So it's the end of, let's say it's maybe mid-October, maybe I think around close to November 1st is when, no later than November 1st, I plan for first quarter, no later than that. And I map it out, and I have my entire first quarter mapped out. And so that means I figure out that in order for me to have a launch on February 15th, or a launch for Black History Month, or a launch for Valentine's Day, or what have you, that I have to start creating that plan by December 2nd. So that I can get the graphics done, the sales page done, and everything that I need to get done within about 4 weeks, so then I can start promoting it, and then I'm ready to really launch in February. But that plan started in November. It didn't start after January. But then after that, I'm tired. I'm really tired. But that's okay that I'm tired, because I already have my whole quarter planned out. So I don't have to because thinking and coming up with stuff is exhausting. It takes a lot of energy. And if you read Shantae's book, Shantae Taylor's book, she tells you that when you're using your CEO brain, you need to have some quiet time, some dedicated space to be able to function and to be able to create, because it takes a lot of energy. And so when you're coming out of a launch, you're too tired to really plan another launch or come up with something next. But if you already thought of that last quarter, it's nothing to come out of game plan and say, okay, team, let's get going, because we're launching a challenge the next week. Because you're not having to think about that. All you're having to do is do, right? And so at any given time, when we're coming out of a launch, we're ramping up another launch. And we're not taking weeks off. And we're not losing time. And we're gonna make maximum revenue for the year. And so that's why it's important for you to plan your year, and then to plan your quarter, and then to plan your months. Because then you won't be losing time and you won't be losing money. Okay, so we go from our yearly plan, which is high level, and we'll talk a little bit about that. And then we do our quarterly plans. And from our quarterly plans, we have monthly team meetings. And our monthly team meetings allow us to be able to focus on what has been accomplished this month and what's coming up that month, and just monitor and track our progress against our quarterly plan. And then by the end of that quarter, we're already planning for the next quarter. So by March 15th, I would have my plan for second quarter. One thing that doing the yearly plan helps you with is also it helps you to identify those things that take more than 1 quarter to plan. TSP Live takes more than 1 quarter to plan. It takes 6 months or more to plan. And so if you're just focused on that 12-week year and you're not focused on the entire year, you're gonna miss that time frame, that preparation time frame, or that promotion time frame that you need to do the really, really big launches. And when I teach my Profitable Launch Blueprint, I share a case study with that Tim Lewis of Curl Mix did for me. And he said when he does a new product launch, this is for the product-based businesses, it takes him 6 months or more of planning for that. 6 months or more for a new line. All right? And so that's why you want to do your yearly planning and your quarterly planning. And again, do your monthly team meetings. And then you have your weekly meeting and project-specific meetings. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. This is what our meeting rhythm looks like. We have our annual or yearly planning sessions. They're off-site meetings. And they're at least 2 days. Right? So around March, June, September, and not even in December. We backed it up late October, early November, we're gonna have our yearly planning. So around November, first half of November, we're planning for next year, and out of that plan, we're gonna have a good, solid plan for first quarter, all right? By mid-March, we're planning for the second quarter. And then in June, we're planning for the third quarter, and then by mid-September, we're planning for the fourth quarter. So you see how that works? You have to plan ahead of time. And also, stopping to do your quarterly planning allows you to pivot. It'll allow you to look at what didn't work and to pivot or to change your plans, right? So they don't have to be, that yearly plan doesn't have to be set in stone, but it will allow you to pivot if you do your quarterly meetings. Now, our annual planning session is 2 days, and we go away. Don't do it in your office, and don't do it in your home. If you can, try to go away somewhere. Now, I've seen some people do some creative things. They, you know, hey, they can't right now afford to rent a place, so go away anywhere exotic. I've seen someone go to their friend's basement. Their friend worked all day and they had a basement. They went to the basement and had some flip charts and did it. It was a change of scenery so that you can focus. Lamar and I, when we started BMWK and we used to do our planning, we would rent a co-working spot for a day. We would get a hotel room, but Lamar played too much in the hotel. He played too much. So, he did. So, I don't know if I suggest that for the couples. It was Lamar's fault, not mine. And we would get a hotel room, co-working spot, whatever, but we needed to change our scenery. And back with BMWK, we did not have our own office building at first, and so we wanted to get out of our home and just make sure that we didn't have any distractions and it was dedicated time. For our quarterly planning, we still do it off-site, and we usually do 1 day, but we do not skip it. Do not skip your quarterly planning. I feel good that I know what's coming up in February. I already know it because I'm gonna be exhausted coming out of this. And I wouldn't want to go back next week and then start thinking of what my next step is gonna be, right? Now we can go back next week and we can do our next step. We do our monthly team meetings. Our monthly team meetings is our time to really focus on what our priorities are. And so in our monthly team meetings, it's like the third Friday of every month. It's a 2-hour meeting, and we are really looking at our progress against our quarterly plan. We are not talking about things that didn't get done that day or statuses of orders or anything like that. We are really, really focused on plan and team building, the priorities or anything company culture related or training or SOPs and things like that, but we're not talking about the day-to-day to-do items. You need to have that focused time on your plan. We have like weekly leadership meetings versus monthly leadership meetings. And then we have our Monday morning meeting. Our Monday morning meeting with our team is 1 hour. And it helps us to refocus on our priorities. Every so often, a couple times a month, I'm going over, these are our quarterly plans. This is what we said we were gonna do. Hey, this is supposed to get started. You know, kick off the plans for this. And so in our Monday morning meetings, we're setting the priority and we're setting the intention for the week. And then we have daily huddles with our team. So Thursday through Friday, they're 30 minutes, they're daily huddles to just say, hey, what are your wins? What are the critical issues? Because as CEOs and as people that are running a business, sometimes it's hard to get with you. And that's your team's opportunity to bring some of those things that they're trying to get, questions that they're trying to get answered to you. So that's what we do in our daily huddle. And sometimes even with each other, right? Because then the rest of the day, we're off and running. And so that's why we have a daily huddle. And sometimes that's 15 minutes and sometimes it's 30 minutes. But we try to keep it under 30 minutes. So that's our meeting rhythm. And then we have project-specific meetings that we'll talk about as well. So the first thing that I want to challenge you to do is to put it on the calendar. Put it on the calendar. It should be a recurring meeting. Your quarterly or your yearly planning should be a recurring meeting. So once you set that one date, 3 months later is the next one, 3 months later is the next one, right? And it's on the calendar. And then you have to be disciplined enough to do it. Because guess what? You ain't no busier than nobody else. I am always tempted to cancel our quarterly meeting because our to-do list never gets done. But it's that important to our business. We have to level up as entrepreneurs, and we really have to focus on working on our business and not in our business all the time. And you need to take a step back and look at that macro level to see what has been working well this quarter and where do I need to go the next quarter. And you can't just push through and skip it, because at the end of the year, you'll find yourself not meeting your goals. So put it on the calendar and be disciplined. And do we have to reschedule it sometimes? Yeah, sometimes there's a speaking arrangement, or sometimes we are going out of town or on a vacation, but it's never canceled. It's moved, but never canceled. And so you have to make that commitment to yourself to be disciplined and to be more mature as business owners to say, I will do my quarterly planning, I will do my yearly planning, and I will not skip it. And you're definitely going to see the results in your business. And then also, like I said, our monthly team meeting, it's a 2-hour meeting, it's a lunch meeting. We bring lunch in for the team, and we focus on how we are tracking our plan. And then, of course, we have our Monday morning meeting and our daily huddles. All right, so let's look at what our priorities are for the first quarter. This is most of our priorities. These are real, right? So we got TSP game plan and mastermind enrollments, and we've been planning for that. Coming out of this, we're launching TSP Live. And this is all first quarter. We're launching TSP Live. And what does it take to launch an event? You gotta have a venue. You gotta have a sales page so that people can buy tickets. And that's gotta be tested. Probably gotta have some speakers in place. That doesn't happen haphazardly. And do you actually think that I'm gonna have all that stuff in place coming out of this? Or even think about like ramping up for that? And we're launching TSP Live this month, today, okay? We're launching it today. And so that had to be planned. We have some new offerings for Propel that we're launching, and we're gonna have an online challenge in March. So who here has done an online challenge? So when do you think I'm gonna start that plan for that challenge? It's already started, right? Our project manager is going to present the actual finished project plan for our March challenge next week. It was due by January 30th. Because we need about 3 or 4 weeks of preparation. We're gonna update our copy. We're gonna update our sales page. We're gonna test the sales page. We're gonna update our emails, and we're gonna update our branding. And then we need a couple of weeks to promote, and next thing you know, it's early March. Now, if I were to come out of game plan and try to plan that and try to think about that out of game plan, it may be mid-February before I thought about that, and good luck having that challenge in March. It's gonna be in April. So you see how that works? I don't wanna miss that revenue. All right, we're gonna fill key leadership positions, which Doreen has been on it, okay? We've had maybe 6 positions that we wanted to have filled first quarter, and I think we filled about 4 of them already. That was a goal, to have those filled in first quarter. So this is how it plays out for everybody. I wanna hire someone. I wanna hire a new project manager. I need a copywriter. I want them to come on in March. Well, what does it take for a copywriter to come on in March? I think you better be working on that job description in November or December and get it out there on LinkedIn or whatever boards that you're gonna put it on. You have to plan for that. It's nothing you can just say, oh, I want this, I want that, and then the next time I see you, yeah, I'm gonna hire this, and the next time I see you, yeah, I'm gonna hire that. You're messing with your money. You're messing with your money when you're not bringing that team member on to take on whatever that is that you can't handle within your business. And so you have to actually plan for filling key positions as well. And we want to secure 2 grants. And I'm not writing those grants. And my grant writer is in this room because I hired her the other week. So yes, I am working on this plan. All right? So again, what happens if I don't launch TSP Mom? I'm losing money. What happens if I don't plan that Propel offering? I'm losing money. What happens if I don't do that online challenge in March? I'm losing money. What happens if I don't fill those key leadership positions? I'm gonna be losing money because I can't do everything myself. And I wanna get some money with those grants as well. So, now we're gonna talk about, so we talked about when to plan, which was when? All the time, all right. And who should plan? All right, y'all listening? Now I wanna talk about what to plan. Everything. Everything needs to be planned, okay? Yes, Lamar, everything. All right? So let's see what Ashley plans.
For 2023, that will be the first year where all of our launches are planned before the year starts. So all of our launch dates. We also this year planned for 2023, we have a plan for our hiring plan. So each month we know our targeted hiring, our targeted employees that we want to hire. We also have planned for our targeted revenue each and every month. And we've also planned for our profitability for the year. So not just how much we want to make, but our target profitability for the year. So how profitable we want to be at the end of the year.
All right. So she's planning for her profitability, her launches, her team, all of the things. All right. So we talked about I want to talk about planning strategically. Your yearly planning should be strategic planning, because I talk about doing yearly planning, right? So what to plan. And strategic planning means strategic thinking plus execution planning. So what's strategic thinking? Strategic thinking is, well, first of all, let me take a step back. A lot of people do their yearly planning and they just jump in and they're just like, okay, I'm gonna have this launch, I'm gonna have that launch, I'm gonna have to do this, and that. And no, you wanna step back and you wanna think strategically. What is my mission? What is my vision? Why am I doing this? What are my 3-year goals? What are my goals for the next year? What are my revenue goals? What's my SWOT analysis? Doing a SWOT analysis, thinking about your strengths, your weaknesses, your opportunities and threats. What were my accomplishments for the last quarter? Let me review how I did in the last quarter. So I'm just rattling it off the top of my head, but honestly, you can just go online and Google annual planning agenda. And they can tell you what to plan for in your annual planning. You can also go on the Upwork or Fiverr or even in the mastermind and find someone to help you facilitate your annual planning. But you want to start with strategic thinking. You want to set those goals first before you jump into what you're going to do or how you're going to do it. You want to set those goals. So then the first day of our annual planning, the whole first day, we're not even jumping into like, oh, we're going to have a challenge, we're going to do this and that. We're not talking about any of that. We're just doing that strategic thinking, revisiting our goals, revisiting our core values, looking at our team, trying to see who's the right person, is the right person in the right seat. We're doing all of that on the first day. And then the next day, we're talking about, okay, now this is how we're going to do it. This is the execution planning. So that's how we do it. And when we come out of our annual planning, we have a high-level plan for the year, and we know what we want to accomplish for the year, and then we have our first quarter priorities mapped out in a little bit more detail. And I want you to plan for your business and not for launches. Plan for a business, not for a launch. So what are you planning for? You're going to plan, how much marketing you're going to do, business development, customer support. How are you going to do that? Corporate development, team building. What team members do you need? Maybe what team building activities you need to do for your team. PR, operations, finance, your launches, your sales, like anything and everything. You want to look at the complete picture and not just, oh, I'm going to do 4 challenges, I'm going to do this and that. Or I'm going to launch a new product next year. And that's all I know is I'm going to launch a new product next year. You definitely want to plan for your entire business and plan for what team members you want to have on board, and plan for where you're going to be working. We cast a vision, a 3-year vision for where we want to be. And within that vision, we already know that our office building is too small to support it, and that this building is too small to support it. We already know that. And so now that we've cast that vision, we have to actually put the actions in place in order to support that vision, right? So how long do you think it's going to take us to get a building, to move into the building, to get it renovated, to get it decorated, and to get our team moved in? So although our goal is not necessarily to move this year, it's to move within the next 2 years because it's a part of our 3-year vision. And also our team is like really crunched up in the office that we're in now. And so we are already working with our broker to look for buildings this year with the anticipation of having that contract signed by the end of the year. But that comes from planning. We're planning for it. We plan for how many people we want in the mastermind. And sometimes you have to set that vision and you have to believe in yourself. And you have to invest in yourself and anticipate that you're going to make that. And so at first we would, launch the mastermind and people would join and we would hurry up and we would try to hire coaches after the fact. And now we hire coaches in anticipation. You met like 3 new coaches on this stage. That was planned. That was intentional, and that was on purpose. And at first, you're going to operate like that. I can't hire the person until I sold it. But eventually, you're going to have to say, hey, I'm going to hire this person because I know I'm going to sell it. In anticipation of that. That's the only way you're going to be able to make it. And so now that we know what our goals are, and how many people we want to bring on, we know how many coaches we want to hire even before you all set foot in the room so that we can be prepared for you. And we do that for our entire team. Like we really set the strategic vision for the team that we want for that year. And in that strategic vision, we even set what quarter we want them to be hired in. So these people in the first quarter, these people in the second quarter, and then we continue to track and monitor that in our monthly plans and in our quarterly plans. In our quarterly meetings. So I'm going to give you some key planning strategies, and let me move this along so we can get to, I don't want to skip Q&A. Okay, so some key planning strategies. Put a date on everything. Put a date on everything. And my team gets sick of it because I just listen to them talking, and then when? What's the date? Create a high-level plan for your quarters. And here's a good tip. Set a date for when the plan should start, when your planning should start. So like I said before, I knew that my plan for our March challenge should be done by January 30th. So set a date for when your plan should be done. And then all you got to do is be disciplined for it so that you'll have enough runway and enough timeline to do the challenge the way you want to do the challenge. Who's tired of not having the results for their launches? Who's tired of feeling rushed all the time? I'm serious. And it's like a vicious cycle. You're always feeling rushed. And you're always saying, I'm going to do that next time. I'm going to write the copy next time. I'm going to do those emails next time. But the key to it is to set a date for when you're going to plan. So how do I do that? I back out of it. I say, Lamar, because it's all based off of what he wants. I say, Lamar, when do you want to have that challenge in March? And he'll give me a date. I ain't gonna tell y'all our date so y'all can go out and steal our date. Y'all will find out when the promotions start. But so we have that challenge in March. So I got my challenge week. And then I back up from that, and we use 2 weeks to promote it. So I know my promotional period is 2 weeks from that. So what does that mean? That my sales page better be done 2 weeks on that date. So I already got my date for my sales plan. This is high level plan, this is not even a detailed plan. This is what I set last November. Just real quick, just in general, just high level rough time frames. And then I know it takes me about 3 to 4 weeks to get prepared, to write the copy, to get the emails done, to get the social media done. So 3 to 4 weeks back from that, for my prep. And then 2 weeks back for that for my plan. And I'll take 2 weeks to create my plan. Bang, I got my date when my plan should start. And you can do that the quarter before. For all of your activities. Okay, I'm gonna have a challenge in April, I better start planning on this date. But you know what? It's not enough to set that date because you have to have enough discipline to actually do the plan. Right? You have to have enough discipline enough to actually say, I'm supposed to have the plan, my detailed plan done for this challenge by this date. But what else can you do if you have those high level plans? I've laid out the high level plan. I know when my sales page needs to be done. Now I can go and find somebody to write my sales page, to do my sales page 3 months in advance, 2 months in advance. I can go get somebody to write the copy, and I can go get somebody to write the graphics and get them locked in 2 months in advance. And so I know how it works for a lot of people. They don't get people to help them because they ain't organized enough. And they're last minute. And they're going to people, and those people don't have enough time. I can't make that date, but I can do it this date. But you still want to make your date, so then you just go with the same old tired page, and the cycle just repeats itself. And so what you need to do is set a date for when you want to do your plan. Create your plan, which I actually give you a plan template with my book. Mastermind, you get the book, so don't go buy it. Because it's in your welcome packages if you open the box, right? So then you have your date for when you want to get started, and then you can go and actually work with vendors and contractors and people ahead of time, and then you can do the launch that you desire to have, right? So that's how you can make some more money within your individual launches. So I'm gonna show you how to make money within the launches and then how to make more money all year round. And that's how you're gonna make massive revenue, right? Because your individual launches are gonna be better because you're gonna give yourself enough time. And then you're gonna make more money because you're gonna do more launches, right? And I didn't even give you no new techniques. I didn't even tell you to create a new product next year. I just told you to get organized and you're gonna make some more money. All right, so you set a date for when the plan should start. That's my nugget for you. You track your quarterly plans every week in your weekly team meeting. So yeah, I'm in my weekly team meeting, I'm in my Monday morning meeting, and I'm saying, hey guys, don't forget, next week, we're starting the challenge. Hey project manager, don't forget, I need to see that plan next week because I have those high level dates right there in my quarterly plan. Hey, don't forget, now on March 15th or April 15th or whatever, we're launching TSP Live. Hey team, what needs to happen? Because it's all laid out. I did it in my quarterly planning. It's all laid out. And so if you have a mechanism for tracking that meeting rhythm that I talked about, if you have that mechanism for tracking, then you won't miss your dates. But you have to keep your plans in front of your eyes at all time, right? Lamar and I, we used to do our planning, and we used to go away, and we would come back with a whole document for the plans. And then I get so overwhelmed that I don't even open that document again until February and March, right? So you have to create mechanisms and systems to be able to track the plan and keep that plan in front of your eyes at all times. at all times. All right, so in your weekly team meetings, you do that. So make sure that you kick your things off one time. And then, like I said before, you create your high-level plan. I just gave you 5 dates. I told you my launch was in March. I backed up 2 weeks from that. And I told you that's how many weeks I'm gonna promote. I backed up 4 weeks from that, and I said, I'm gonna use this 4 weeks to do my prep. And then I backed up 2 weeks from that, and I did my plan. But that's just a high-level plan. You need a detailed plan. You need to know when the copy is going to be done and when the graphics are going to be done, and set those individual dates as well so that you can understand the dependencies and get things done on time. So you want to spend some time creating a detailed plan for your projects. And this is really important. Create time blocks for planning. Every week, you should have a 2-hour time block or something on your calendar where you have some quiet time where you're just looking at your plans and your plan for your business. And I know a lot of people aren't doing that. They're just doing and just working. But if you can create some time blocks for your planning and looking at your plans, it's gonna go a long way. Set a weekly meeting for launches. This is key for people that have a team. I find out that entrepreneurs, they just have meetings about everything, and then all of their projects and stuff are late. And so for us, every Tuesday at 1 o'clock, we're just talking about launches. We're not talking about the program, we're not talking about the mastermind, we're not talking about anything else. We're talking about what we're launching. And is the copy done? Is it, is the social media done? Are the pages done? Is the development done? Is it tested? Those types of things. So and this is for service-based businesses and product-based businesses. We're always in launch mode. And so we have a meeting dedicated just to launches. We talk about none of those other issues, but what's on our project plan and how that's gonna get done. So if you are constantly launching, and we're constantly coming in and out of a launch, and so every week we are focused on what we're launching and what type of money we're trying to make. And if you are a product-based business, you probably have like, some type of sales cadence where every month you might have like, this week I'm doing this week I'm doing that, or whatever. And so you have your normal sales that you have every month, and then you have maybe a new product launch every year, every few quarters or whatever, or when you introduce new products. And all of those need to be talked about in that weekly launch meeting and where you stand with that. Then we have a separate meeting for our programming and our product fulfillment. So if for the mastermind, we have a separate call to talk about the mastermind and the deliverables and what's going on in the mastermind. We have a separate call for Propel and what's going on in Propel, but it has nothing to do with the launches, right? So kind of get organized and make sure that you have that dedicated time for planning in those different areas. And the other tip is don't skip your annual and quarterly planning meetings. All right. So that was step 1. Is everybody committed to being a planner? I don't know about that. Maybe you are. I'm gonna test y'all in the hallway. Now I ain't gonna say nothing, but I'm gonna look at you funny. And some of y'all done got that look like, Ronnie ain't feeling that. I know how to do it good too. All right. So step 2 is really fast. I'm not even gonna hound this in. How many times have y'all heard this this weekend? Consistently, right? So I'm not even gonna, 40 seconds, I got 40 seconds and I'm gonna go through that. Be consistent with your offer, right? You're just jumping around too much and you're messing with your momentum. 12 people in the mastermind. 25 people in the mastermind, 60 people in the mastermind, 100 people in the mastermind, 200 people in the mastermind, 300 people in the mastermind. Consistent with our offer. And not to say that we're not tweaking it and we're not making the program better each year, but if you're always jumping around and doing this and doing that, how can you gain that momentum? And then be consistent with your actions. Consistently planning, consistently launching. And so you just have to be consistent. That's the second step. Okay, so while a positive mindset along with relevant action is absolutely the key to success, one critical ingredient that is commonly missed by people is consistency, okay? And that was from an article I read in Forbes. All right, so when to stop? Never. Lamar liked that. Yes, never. So I changed the picture because he likes that. All right, let's talk about consistency.
I don't even know if it's a cheat code. Being consistent has helped us so much in our business. Our first event for Speak Your Way to Cash Live had 10 people in a conference room. I know that everyone did not pay, and I think maybe 2 of them paid the full price. Most of them got like a scholarship for half the rate off. And it was 10 people, but I remember being excited about the 10 people. And so consistency, I've been relentless about going after my goals, trying to live in fearlessness, and also interpreting the data in a way that helps me to keep going. Because for me, even if we have a launch where it only makes $10,000, I'm still excited because I've done launches where it's made $100. Like, I remember having clients for $30. So, only 10 people pay me $30,000. Like, I'm not going to be upset about generating revenue at all. And all it tells me is, okay, I'm doing good here. Maybe I need to tweak here. So the thing that we've been consistent in that I don't hear people talk about often is interpreting the data in a way that is real, but also in a way that keeps you moving forward. So not interpreting a bad launch as this means I have to stop. Not interpreting low revenue as I'll never make 7 figures. Not interpreting team members quitting as I shouldn't hire. I find that we see the stop sign where we should be seeing the go sign. And typically it's go learn more. Go get better, go figure it out. It's not stop and quit. Like, that doesn't add to momentum.
Okay. Okay. All right. So while I am moving through my next couple of charts, I can take 2 people on each mic, all right? Because that's all I'm going to have time for the Q&A. All right. So step 3, be honest. This is really important. Be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself about the type of business that you want. Be honest with yourself about your goals. Be perfectly honest. Be honest about your business and your goals and the data. Because until you do, you're not going to reach those goals. You're not going to do the actions that it takes in order to reach those goals. So be honest. If you really want to have $1 million business next year, are you honestly going to do $1 million worth of work in order to get that goal next year? Be honest, right? And you know that. Stop and do your plans. Your effort has to be proportionate with your goals. It has to be. And so you have to start getting honest with yourself about your business. It's all about that mindset. And so that is our step 3. So who should you be honest with? Yourself. Yourself. All right. All right. Lamar don't play no games, okay? Be honest with yourself. All right. So 7 fundamental truths, and then I want to answer questions because I only have like 5 minutes of questions. All right. Your revenue is directly proportional to your efforts. That's a fundamental truth. When you don't plan, you lose money. Your team will never respect planning if you don't. Now that's true. If you don't respect dates and you don't like meetings and you got a bad attitude about it, just forget about it for your company, okay? Because it's not gonna work. It's time to mature as a business owner. That's it. There's nothing else to say behind that. You gotta mature. Okay, and having a team will not solve your problems. This is what Ashley says.
One fundamental truth that we've learned is having a team doesn't mean you go and just relax. Like, it means you still have to do the work. You still have to manage the work, and what you won't inspect, you really can't expect.
She said it all. All right, and your business will grow when you grow as an individual. That's a fundamental truth. And so the
biggest thing that had to change this year for us to grow was me. It wasn't, everything else changed when I changed. When I got better, everything else got better.
That's it. All right, and if you don't know how to plan, then join the TSP Mastermind. Because Lamar and I are about building businesses and building legacy, right? And so while other programs teach you the latest strategy, which we give you that, we're also trying to teach you how to build a real sustainable business. And so there's the link if you want to join. All right, that's it. All right. Or a couple questions or no? All right, Coach Cass.
All right, hey family, I'm Coach Cass, America's go-to love doctor, speaking to women's groups about dating and relationships. So my question, I get really overwhelmed trying to do this, right, Ronnie? And so one of the things that I heard is that you said to have different meetings pretty much for every launch, everything you have going on. I'm thinking about getting an OBM, right? So someone who thinks. So then do I still show up to all of the meetings, or does the OBM handle like half of them? Like, what is that breakdown of what an OBM should really do, a project manager and me? I know I'm supposed to plan, but what is that?
Right, so that just depends,
okay.
Right? Lamar doesn't show up for all of our launch calls anymore,
okay.
Right? So what we do is we interview him. We do what we call a project kickoff, and we ask him everything. What is this? What's the title of it? What's the goal? How much does it cost? Are there any upsells? Are there any downsells? Whatever. We get all the information that we need from him, and he may join the first 1 or 2 calls, and then he doesn't come anymore.
Got it.
Right? But that just depends on your team, the level of expertise, and if they're able to then take that and plan without you.
Boom.
So it really depends.
Second part is just with spreadsheets. I know you shared with us the Excel sheets. Do you guys really work from Excel, or do you have like a project management software that you use?
So the Excel sheets that I share can be uploaded into Asana.
Okay.
So those are Asana templates.
Got it.
I just use Excel so that people can use them, and they can use them, they may have to massage it in other tools, because usually you can use a CSV or an Excel sheet, and if you massage it, you can upload it in most of those softwares. Cool. So that's why we share Excel with you all.
Thank you.
Yeah. All right, next question is right here.
Hi. Thank you, Ronnie. My name is Akeisha Johnson of An Inspired Story. I'm a business leadership coach who empowers leaders to become the kind of boss other people want to work for. I've also created the Safe Space to Talk About Race, where I facilitate salons to give people agency around DEI-related topics. Okay, here's my question. I'm a solopreneur. I have contractors and whatnot. I'm very much a visionary thinker. I'm right in the middle of so many things, and the planning, like Coach Cass said, feels extraordinarily overwhelming for me. What would you say is the first step for someone who doesn't have someone like you on the team, that get their planning on track?
So the first step is to get some quiet time, and just, again, like I said, plan out your quarter. So here's the deal. I know a lot of people, are not used to planning, and if they've seen any of my plans, there are all of these steps in it. Well, maybe you just start planning, okay? Just start breaking it down and do some start and end dates for all of the activities that you have this quarter. Because guess what? The next time you go and plan that, you'll add some more tasks. And the next time you plan it, you'll add some more tasks. And the next time you plan it, you'll add some more tasks, and your plan will get better. So there's no magic remedy. It's just start. Have some quiet, focused time, and look at what you want to accomplish for the year, and then what you want to accomplish this quarter, and try to put a plan in place for it. And then go for it. And then also in the portal, I have lots of planning templates. Okay? All right, so really quick, the last two, I have like literally 1 minute, so make your question really quick.
All right, so hey y'all, hey, I'm Joy. I help people expand, rebrand, and make money in their sleep. So here's my quick question. So I grew my team during the time of being a mastermind, and when they signed up, they didn't sign up for all these meetings. I mean, we have meetings during the events and trainings, but what's the best approach to go back to them and say, hey, we need more meetings, so they can know that we about to increase the amount of times that we talk and connect?
How do people not sign up for meetings? They should.
Well, they have
I don't
meetings,
understand that.
but it wasn't as often as I need to have it. So when I first started, I told them about the quarterly meetings, but I need more meetings.
But I mean, you don't ask your team for permission for meetings. You have
Okay,
meetings.
that's it.
I mean, you just got the wrong attitude about it. I'm serious.
Right.
Like, it don't work like that. Like, we're gonna have a quarterly planning meeting. It's not like, can we have a quarterly planning meeting? We're gonna have a quarterly planning
It's gonna be
meeting.
more than quarterly.
And this
though.
is the direction that we need to go in. Now, I'm not trying to have you have unnecessary meetings.
Right.
But what's necessary, just be confident in that. Because they smell blood when you're not confident.
Right.
Right? And so you need to be confident. This is what we are doing for our business. This is the direction that we are going in, and walk and being confident in that. Just don't be like, oh, my team, I don't know. What?
Hold on, I'm be confident, but it's gonna be a lot more meetings, so I'm just gonna send them a good old message.
Yeah. All right, go ahead, Teal.
Teal Turner, Charlotte Mobile Notary and Fingerprinting. So this planning thing, I got to get this in my spirit. I'm more of a free spirit, and my wife is more practical. So my question is this. When you're doing the planning, me being the visionary, my wife being more practical, and to some degree, at the risk of not getting beat up when I get back there, she's a little bit more, maybe I'm more optimistic, and she's more, hey, but you got to do this. Who plans? Do I do the planning as a visionary, or does she do the planning as the practical person? You understand what I'm asking?
I mean, it's a joint effort if y'all working on the business together. It's a joint effort. And you leverage each other's strengths, right? So you can come up with the vision, and then she can help you plan it out and fulfill it. And that's what me and Lamar do.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a joint effort.